Hello, everyone. So far, we have two people here, which is good. If you can hear me, if you're sitting in front of your computers, please type in the chat that you can hear me. And so we're going to have a tour, and this is going to be an interesting one because I don't normally use this webinar system for this occasion. But this is Webinar Jam. It has some features that Zoom doesn't have, which I thought I might need. Turns out I didn't. Normally I use Zoom for meetings because we get to talk to each other, which I think is far superior. But this is an info session, so hopefully this will work just as well. And so now we have 5 people in the chat, or in the but nobody has said they can hear me. So if you can hear me, please type in the chat that you can hear me, and then I can pull up the screen share and we can get started. So basically, the downside to this particular system is that I can't see the chat at the same time I'm manipulating the screen to show you the program. So I'll have to go back and forth. And nobody is talking in the chat. I'm just going to type in the chat. Can you hear me? Oh, yep, Aziza. Thank you, Aziza. Hi, Aziza. It's good to see you here. And so I will start since we have at least one person who can hear me. All right, I'm turning on screen share. Okay, so this is the main dashboard of where all the programs that I have are. And as you can see, there's the functional microbiome program right at the top. So you merely click in there and you can see that everything you need to know is on the home page. So you've got the Facebook group, how to do the quizzes. This is the schedule, the upcoming schedule for the bi-module reviews. This is one of the bonuses where once a month, well, more like once every 3 weeks, we do 2 module reviews of 2 of the modules. And it doesn't matter if you haven't done the modules. They're set up in a way that you're just getting good information from the modules. It's a review for those who've done them, and it's usable information for those who haven't. So you can see you have all 10 modules here, plus the business module and the done for yous. And I'm going to go into module 1. And here we go. So it starts with the world of the microbiomes, understanding the mouth microbiome. I like to talk a lot about chewing, so I did a little extra one there. Then we do a review of the digestive process. It goes into a little bit more depth than what some of you might have been taught in school. This is the quiz that you do to complete this part of the module. And once you submit your answers, you can download a certificate with your name on it. Then you can go to part 2 and we continue the conversation. So now we get into gut bacteria, diversity, GI testing, getting your poop tested. And this is a little exercise. We talk a lot about experiential learning. And when we talk about protocols, this is just a little exercise you can give them to do that's part of the experiential process. In module 2, and I'm just going to keep going back and forth to make sure you don't have any questions. Okay, no questions so far. And so module 2, we continue to talk about bacteria. Then we do the eyes, ears, and nose microbiomes, the reproductive microbiomes. Then we talk about gut bacteria and pediatrics, and this is broken into 2 parts. I try to keep the videos not too long, so it makes it easier to listen to. And then we talk about transient and residential bacteria, understanding strains. You know, some of these are quite short. And you can see the references are there. And then we have another quiz. So I've split up the modules to have 2 quizzes because then it's just easier for those who are doing the program to get through the materials without having too much to be quizzed on. And then in module 3, we start talking about supplements. So we talk about the research and then a general health protocol for supplements. So this is when we start getting into the protocol information. So this is what you would do, what you're trying to accomplish with supplements, how you would classify the clients. You know, I've broken them into 2 categories to make it easier to understand how you could work with them. Then we talk about some other concepts that are appropriate for this topic, like Lactobacillus bacteremia. We talk about the strains chart that I've included. And then I have all this information from these companies here. Now, this is not complete. There are a lot more companies, especially now, but it gives you an idea of what kind of information you can expect to receive from a different company. So I highly recommend that as practitioners, we contact the companies whose products we recommend and get materials from them that are designed for practitioners. So this gives you some examples. Another quiz, and then you have part 3. Okay, so this one is 3 parts because everything wouldn't fit into 2 parts, and I didn't want to make it too long. All right, in module 4, we get into food. So again, another general protocol. And then we have the mapping of food protocol. So how you map everything out for everyone. Fermented foods, 2 parts for that. Cultured coconut, which is a special little video on a particular product. Fermenting grains and legumes. The truth about gluten, a lot of very good information about that sort of counters what you've probably been told, but it's important that we know, because it's all about bacteria. It's all about microbes. And then you can see another quiz, and then you go to part 4. Next part of module 4, Then you've got prebiotics, glutamine and bone broth, adjusting special diet styles, so talking about paleo and things like that. And then we have the gaps and the FODMAPs and ketogenic diets discussed, intermittent fasting, food sensitivity and food intolerance, and culinary herbs and spicers, as well as then I talk about the soil microbiome, air microbiome, and regenerative agriculture. We talk about GMOs in the gut, and then some of the forms that are here and an explanation of how to use them. And then we have this document, which is a really good tool to give to clients and help them with an experiential learning element. It's a food checklist, and they basically check off what they currently eat so they understand what they're already doing that's good. And then they are asked to pick a couple of new foods so that we can start increasing the diversity of their food. Now, there's a number of menu plans here as well. There's even more menu plans in the Done For You itself. And this is the references for part 1 and 2, because there is now another part to this module, and it's all on essential oils. So this is about using essential oils. First of all, talking about essential oils and the chemistry of them, then using them. And then this one is a discussion of more detail than was in the first video. And then I did a bunch of conditions. And instead of giving you the PDFs of the slides, I'm giving you a handout which you can download and either print out or keep handy. And it does everything by conditions. So these are all links. So you can go to any condition here. You can go to acid reflux or candidiasis. And it just has the basic recommendations, like what ones might be ideal. And then, of course, a little suggestion of how to use it. This is for each and every one of them. And I broke it up into the microbiomes. So there's one for the gut, for the skin, for the lungs, for the urinary system. And then, of course, I did the adrenals as well, because if you're in the program, you'll understand that's a very important topic. Okay, so that's module 4. Module 5 is really an interesting module. It's my favorite. So we get into some of the other areas that are important. So we talk about the brain-gut connection and the vagus nerve, dysbiosis, SIBO and candidiasis, and then there's a specific protocol for them, leaky gut and healing the gut lining. Then we talk about autophagy in the gut. I don't know if you know autophagy, but that's an important topic as to how we function, and it's relatively new. We didn't know a lot about this until recently. If you hear yelling in the background, that is my niece who has her headphones on and doesn't realize she's yelling at her computer while she's playing a game. Anyway, then we go on to part 2 of module 5. We have histamine intolerance, We talk about LPS, which comes up a lot. It's an endotoxin that is prevalent in a number of health conditions, from liver dysfunction to brain dysfunction to Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, arthritis. It comes out quite a bit in the research. We talk about the mucus lining and the inflammation, and how to repair the mucus lining. We talk about gut motility, and then we talk about the endocannabinoid system in the gut, which again is another system we didn't know a lot about until recently, and it plays a role in gut function along with many other aspects of our function in our body. Digestive plaque. So this is something that occurs in the gut, and it's very similar to the plaque on your teeth. And it plays a role into whether you have dysbiosis or not. And then I have a video on the truth about IgG testing, because a lot of this is misused, and it's important you understand what it can tell you and it can't tell you. And what it can tell you is possibilities of what might be bothering a person, but it can't tell you for sure that anything that the test says is actually bothering the person. So I have some information from the companies themselves, and so I explain all that there as well. And then there's another checklist for you that you can use, a quiz, of course, and then that's the end of Module 5. So you can see the basic pattern of what we're doing. Now, that's the foundation program, by the way, modules 1 to 5. Now, the intensive program is obviously the whole program, which includes modules 6 to 10. So in module 6, we get into the conditions. So metabolic syndrome, obesity, diabetes. There's a food chart here that you can use that is very helpful. And once again, we go to the next part. And we go into heart disease, osteoporosis, osteoarthritis, chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia, immune tolerance, allergies in the gut. This is another experiential learning exercise that people can use. In Module 7, we continue our discussion with the conditions. We've got autoimmunity. It's got 2 parts. And as you can see, they're pretty big. So that's all there is for that part of the module. And then we get into IBS, Crohn's, and colitis, brain issues in the gut, Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's, autism, and that's Module 7. Module 8, we get into some lifestyle stuff. So we talk about stress, anxiety, and depression, exercise and sleep, the sense of smell, and gut bacteria, meditation, mindfulness, and gut health. And then there's a gratitude exercise, again, another experiential learning element. And then we go to the next part of the module. And we have thyroid in the gut, hormones in the gut, estrogen dominance in the gut connection, supporting gut health through cancer treatment. And then this is a really nice document that you can use as a lead magnet if you like. All right, and so then we go into Module 9. Then we talk about going forward. So how do you work with clients going further? And of course, we talk about developing the protocol. So we talked a lot about mapping the protocol with the supplements and the food, but now we're going a little deeper with when you have issues with clients who are maybe it's a condition you're not familiar with and you have to do some extra research. How do you find the research for the microbiomes? And then, of course, how do you research more information for clients as well? So that's the first part. The second part, of course, is case studies. So these are case studies of mine to give you some examples. And that's just to sort of round out the information. And there's a client session template here in this module. And then the last module is the counseling module. So explain the purpose of the module. There's a couple of exercises you can use with clients, a discussion of experiential learning, nourishing a positive mind frame in the client, defining resilience, and building resilience. These are 2 key factors that people need to have in order for their physical body to respond. And so that's a discussion of that. It comes from the School of Positive Psychology. And if you wonder why there's a score on the quiz, it's because this is my account and I took the quiz. Then we talk about the Neuroscience of Change, which is basically the information I presented 2 weeks ago in the live webinar, Microbiomes and Mindset. That's the information I presented last week. And we talk about character strength, anxiety and its relationship to resilience, and strengthening relationships, and another gratitude exercise. So those are the 10 modules. So I'm going to come back to you now and see if there's any questions, and then I will go into the done for yous. Okay. So do we have any questions about the base program? So if you do the 10 modules, then you get the certificate and the title Functional Microbiome Educator. If you want to just get started, you can do the foundation program, which is modules 1 to 5. But for the full program, it's the 10 modules. Now you can do those 5 modules later. Okay, so one of the things that I am stressing now with regard to protocols is it's essential that clients have things broken down for them into small parts, and then they choose what they're going to do. So when you map the protocol, there's a document for it. You literally take it and you break up each type of suggestion. So one could be for digestion and one could be for stress, for example. You put them into different sections on the form, and you put in a number of suggestions that might work for the client, and then they pick the ones that they're going to do, because if you don't do that, they won't do them. And the goal here is to keep their stress levels down, have them do tasks they can see themselves succeeding at. This is what experiential learning is all about. And then they can have the success with each task that they do, and it motivates them. It actually starts to build psychological momentum in their brain and helps them move forward. Is the certificate accredited nationally, internationally? Okay, so this is a title. This is not a designation. You already have designations. You're already practitioners. And it is recognized by a number of organizations for upgrading credit. So this is an upgrading program for practitioners. And the title is to help you have clients understand what it is your area of expertise is. So by the time you finish this program, you will be an expert. So it is recognized by several associations. And generally speaking, it's been my experience. So even if the association you belong to hasn't specifically recognized it, I've never had anybody not have it accepted for their upgrading requirements. Okay, so I don't see any other questions here. I will go back to this little presentation here. So down here is how you access the Done For You programs. So as you can see, you have 2 here. You have the Healthy Gut Done For You program, and then the Upload and Go. So first of all, I just want to show you this. This explains both programs, and then there are some training videos to show you how to customize the materials, how to record them if you're going to use the PowerPoints, different options for recording, uploading them. And, we had a wonderful session with people where we went over all of this, and people really like sort of the opportunity they have with some of this material. And then this is a video about where do you put it? So after you've recorded a video or you've customized the handouts or whatever you've done, where do you put it? So you can put it on Practice Better if you have a Practice Better account. You can put it on your website, like I have here, right? That usually requires a membership plugin of some kind. Or you can use email, which is what a lot of my members are doing who don't have Practice Better or a membership site. So it's very versatile and it's easy to sort of automate. Okay. So let's look at the actual materials. So this is the original Done For You. There's a Canada version and the US version, and the only difference is spelling of 5 words. Just 5. Leader, fiber, color, favorite, and flavor. That's it. That's the only difference between them. And as you can see, you have a number of folders here. So you've got 21-day menu plans, blog post, ebooks, email sales funnel and sales page, handouts, images. This is the instructions for how you might want to use it, lead magnets, the menu plan designer tool, which is one of my favorite documents because I don't believe you give people menu plans and have them follow them because they won't. So you give them these menu plans, whichever one they choose. I'll show you, there's 5 different versions. And then it's for ideas for them. And then they build their own menu plan. They might keep in some of the things that they already do that are fine. They make it look like something that they recognize, and it is much less stress for them. Plus, this is an amazing experiential learning exercise because you're literally teaching them how to plan their own menus. So you've got PowerPoints here, shopping lists, using the program, and then there's another exercise that you can use for experiential learning. In the 21-day menu plans, you can see you have one for FODMAPs, ketogenic, paleo, regular, and vegan. So no matter how a client comes to you, you have a menu plan that fits where they are at when they come to you. You may not want them to continue. Maybe they don't want to be on the FODMAPs anymore, but at least they can get started and you can gradually switch them over as they see fit, right? But you don't have to come up with a FODMAPs menu plan. That this has been optimized for gut health. All of these have been, this one was hard. It was very hard to optimize the ketogenic diet for gut health, but I did the best I could. You know, people don't think about suggesting someone have a quarter of an apple. So a quarter of an apple is better than no apple at all. Like a lot of really good gut foods have been removed from the ketogenic diet. But all of them have been optimized for gut health to make it easier for you. If you want to see what they look like. Now, these do not load very well on Dropbox. They look much better when they have been downloaded to your computer. But as you can see, you have a section here where you can put in some personal information for the client. These have, menu or table of contents where you can just point and click to go to whatever recipe you want. And then what I've done for each menu plan is talk about like what is FODMAPs about, and how do you use it for gut health if you are following it, right? So each one has an explanation. Then there's general instructions for them to follow and foods to avoid and all that sort of thing, steps to good digestion, right? So these are really good documents. These are things that a client will really like. And then you've got the menu plans laid out. There's the 3 weeks of them, and then we get into the recipes. And as you can see, they're all nicely designed and will make you look really good. And you can change the colors, you can change the banners, you can change a lot of things. All right, and then we also have lead magnets. So these are 3 lead magnets in a funnel, and then this is the one that people really, again, you have like bone broth soups, cultured dips and sauces, culture smoothies. All of these can be customized, but this is the one that a lot of people use. This is, again, a FODMAPs, ketogenic, paleo, regular, and vegan, and it's a nice way to get people to start so that they can maybe feel somewhat better, pretty quickly. They may get some more energy or whatever. So again, you can put in whatever information you want here. Notice that there's a disclaimer. There's a disclaimer on all the documents because that is what you should do. And then you've got your table of contents. And then we talk about the challenge and what you can do and what to expect and all that sort of thing. And then there's the instructions for it. And I just want to get to the actual menu plan for it so you can see it. So basically the way it's set up is the first 4 days are the same. So it's kind of like a cleanse. As you can see, it's got food on it. It's not juice. It's not eating. So people find this quite substantial because they can choose how much they have and how much they don't. And then the last 3 days are just some good quality eating. So if they haven't been eating very well, this is a really good way to start. They may detox on that, and the challenge does explain that so that they're not taken by surprise. But most people do it and they feel better after 7 days. Again, not fixed. They're not fixed, but they see some improvement. Usually more energy is what they feel. Okay. So that is the basic done for you, right? And you've got some email sales funnels here and sales page tools. You've got handouts. So 16 tips for sleep, dysbiosis, candidiasis quiz, steps to good digestion, top 8 stressors for the gut, top 10 foods for gut health. Again, just things that are useful to you and can help you, work with clients, promote your business, all that sort of thing. And then the upload and go. So I just want to see if you have any questions before I go to the upload and go. Okay, no questions so far. If you have any questions, feel free to type them in the chat and I will address them. Okay, so it's easier to go back and forth on Zoom. I'm used to it. There we go. Okay, so this is the Upload and Go program. And this was created because I was asked by a member. They love the Healthy Gut Done For You. They weren't sure how to put it together for a program. So she asked me to put it together for a program using the documents. Now, I did also grab some other documents from some other programs I have. So there are some documents in here that are not in the Healthy Gut Done For You, but most of the documents are in the Healthy Gut Done For You. So essentially what you have is a 6-week and a 12-week program. And I'll just look at this 12-week first. So each one has some experiential learning tasks that they can do. In this case, they have the results tracker they can do. They have the client food journal. They've got the steps to good digestion. They could do all of them. They could do one of them. It's up to the client because the goal here is to keep everything small so that they can not take on more than they want. We just had a question in the Facebook group about this where, some clients can't even take the time to fill out the forms you give them. So the goal here is you don't give them the forms to fill out before they come to see you. You maybe ask them a few questions when they book their session. And other than that, you do most of it in session because, again, you can control how much you are, information you're giving them and not overwhelm them. You also have 2 PowerPoints here, Why Gut Health. Again, this could be used for a speaking engagement if you wanted. It doesn't have to be used with a client. And another one for getting started. So getting started talks about using the steps to good digestion, the client food journal, and the results tracker. And again, you can split this up and you don't have to use the whole thing. There's nothing about any of this that you're stuck with. And you decide how much information you want. You're going to have some clients who want to know more about gut health, and they're going to want this. And you just record it and you can give the link to them. If it's in a spot where they go for week 1, then it's there for them. It's totally up to you how you use this material. And then when we go to week 2, you see there's more. Okay, so this one is using the 7-day challenge. I have a lot of members who pull out the challenge from here and they use some of the other information because, again, there's always choices here. You don't do all of this in week 2. The client chooses, right? So a lot of people are pulling that out and putting something else in, like maybe stress, which is usually, and they've got sleep and exercise together. They split those up, things like that. There's a lot of flexibility here. But as you can see, you've got the same thing. You've got the videos that you could record. You've got all the menu plans here. So there's the 5 different types. I've just put the regular in here. And I've split it up so that you've got, again, you can do this yourself too, where this one's only the recipes and this one's only the menu plans. Because I thought it might be useful. You never know what clients want. Week 3 is the food checklist that we just saw as a very simple exercise, and we start talking about prebiotic foods, and you can see there's a video on gut health foods, and then explanation for their task, which is this food checklist. And week 4, we review the results tracker. So this is what they started out with. It's the first sort of experiential learning task they'll do, where they sort of, I'll just show it. No, that's not going to show you. Get out of there. This is going to show you. This is the results tracker form. So basically, they have to rank this starting on when they start. They rank their how they feel. These can all be changed. So if these are not the right symptoms for them, you can even let them do it. And I highly recommend that, so that they have their priorities being monitored, because this may not, they may not care so much about their mental focus. I don't know why they wouldn't, but they might not. It might be all about the sleep and the gas and the bloating. So they get to choose what it is they focus on. They rank it then. They can look at it at 7 days or 30 days or 60 days or 90 days. I've recommended they do 30, 60, and 90, so that they are giving some time. But you can change this. This is all can be changed. And week 5 is all about fermented foods. And again, they're still using the food checklist as their exercise, because it's split up into prebiotic foods and fermented foods. And then there's a task of how to add fermented foods. So their task is to add 1 fermented food that week. Some of the tasks are quite simple. Week 6, of course, is the menu planning. So this is where they get to do their own menu plan. They've learned about some fermented foods, prebiotic foods. They've got a good sense of health, of what gut health is all about. And now they get to sort of put that into practice. And then again, week 7 is stress. And again, we talk about stress in the gut, how to create stress-busting habits. This is one of the pieces of information to help them cope. And then there's a 5-day stress challenge if they want to do that. So this is all experiential learning stuff and educational. Week 8 is exercise in the gut and sleep in the gut. Again, these could be split up into 2 different weeks if you wanted. They do the results tracker again. They've got handouts for this. Week 9. Now this 12-week is more for people who have like food sensitivities and dysbiosis and candidiasis, and they want more education on it. It actually could be turned into a nice online program. So that's why you've got this in week 9. In week 10, we go into leaky gut. And again, healthy cleaning, because that's another part of the microbiome story. Natural tooth care for the mouth microbiome. So there's always elements in here that they can do as exercises. Then we get into hormones in the gut, and we talk about cosmetics and beauty products, how to use less products, because a lot of those have endocrine disrupting chemicals in them. And then finally, week 12, again, there's a lot to choose from here. And again, you can, this is something you choose. They're not going to do all of this. But the nice one here is this document, How to Become Unstoppable, which is a great way to end a 12-week program. They have their results tracker again, but you could have them learn more about the brain in the gut, or depression and anxiety, or emotions in the gut. There's tips for meditating. So again, you choose what you offer them, but at least there's some sort of guidelines here for you. So that is the upload and go. All right. Okay, so people left. Yes, there is a replay, and I will be sending it out. Okay, so does anybody have any questions? I'm just going to stop the share here. Okay, if you have any questions, please type them in the chat. Again, this is why I like Zoom better. It's easier for me to see who's here. I don't know who is here. Oh, there they are. I can see you now. Yeah, if you have any questions, please type in the chat. And I will be happy to answer anything that you want to know. As you can see, it's pretty comprehensive, and you can do as you see fit. You can do this at your own pace. You do not have any pressure on you. And as a result, you will learn ongoing. I update it all the time. The essential oil stuff was just added. I just added 3 other videos and updated 2 others. Again, because as more research becomes available, then I add more. So Aziza's asking, in the foundation program, do you talk about what supplements can be used to treat dysbiosis? Yes, because dysbiosis is covered in Module 5, and supplements are covered in Module 3. More detail about the supplements is in Module 3. But in the Module 5, I actually talk about what you need to do for dysbiosis. And so some suggestions are put there, and then you can go to Module 3 for more suggestions as you see fit, like for different antimicrobials and things like that. The essential oil stuff is really good for that as well, because many of the essential oils are antimicrobial. And one of the things I include when in the video about using essential oils is a chart for which ones are ingestible, and of course what quality you have to buy in order to ingest them. But again, oil of oregano is an essential oil, but you've also got clove, and you've got cinnamon, and you've got lemon, and you've got lime, and there's a number, lavender. These are all antimicrobial, and it's a really interesting the way the research is going, in that what we're probably going to learn is that certain, I'll say essential oils, because essential oils are phytonutrients. So there's a lot of research about the phytonutrients in plants and what they mean for microbes on us, in us, around us, etc. And different phytonutrients promote different strains of bacteria that have different functions. So over time, we're probably going to learn that if you want more of a specific strain or types of strains that help support specific functions in the body, that you're better off with, this essential oil or this antimicrobial or this phytonutrient or food, or like it's going to evolve into that. And that may sound complicated, but I think over time it won't be as complicated as it sounds, because what we're trying to stress in the program is diversity. Okay, so Andrea, if you have the Healthy Gut program, you have this program. There was no upgrade for this. This was strictly anyone who had the Healthy Gut program was grandfathered in, so you already have it. I would have to know at what point you bought the program to tell you how much is new, because I've been upgrading it every year. So those who bought before, it was quite a good investment. Let's just put it that way. So you don't have to worry about it. You have access to this. If you go into the membership site, you will you'll have everything I just showed you is all there for you. You won't find the Healthy Gut anywhere on the dashboard anymore, because it was changed. The name was changed. So that I could offer the certificate and the title, because I think that's important. All right. So any other questions? I knew you'd like that, Andrea. I do send out emails about this, but I know it's hard to have everybody read every email. But anyway. Okay, I don't see any other questions. Oh. Aziza, if I start the foundation, how much time do I have to decide to switch to the full program? You have all the time in the world. So for example, I'm going to send out an email next week for the people who just bought the foundation last fall, and just to remind them that they have the opportunity to get the rest of the program if they want. I have some people doing it 2 years later. I have some people doing it, before they finish the foundation program. It doesn't really matter. It's a direct thing. You email me, you say I'd like the rest of the program, I send you a link. It's kind of old school that way. Okay, any other questions? All right. Well, I thank you all for attending. I hope this helped you understand what the program. Oh, wait, here's another one. There's certain supplement brands that you recommend. I have ones that I like, but I'm very open-minded. I don't believe in becoming loyal to a specific brand because there are so many good ones out there. But I certainly have ones that I like, and they're mentioned again in the supplement section. One of the reasons the product information is for those different supplements, because they're ones that I like. But I keep finding new ones I like just as well. So what we really talk about, and this is probably one of the best advantages of the program, this is where the other colleagues come in, and the live meetings we have, the live support meetings, and the Facebook group, because they come up in and tell you what they've used for specific health conditions, which is invaluable, because it's not all about my experience, it's about their experience too. And we've got some pretty senior colleagues in this group who do, and they're not all holistic nutritionists or health coaches. Some of them are doctors, and some of them are naturopaths, some of them are nurses, some of them are homeopaths. Like, we have a diverse group. The majority are holistic nutritionists and health coaches, because this product or this upgrading program was designed specifically for them. But yeah, I certainly always talk about the supplements I like, and other colleagues do as well, so that you have choices, because depending on where you are, you may not be able to get what's available to me, or I might not be able to get what's available to you. So we need to have lots of good suggestions. All right. I don't see any other questions. This is the only thing I don't like about Webinar Jam, is there's a delay between the time I say something and the time you react to it, or post your question. So a lot of times I'm just kind of mumbling away to myself, waiting to see if there's any more questions, because I don't want to cut someone off if there's another question. But I don't see any, so I'm going to assume that's it. If you do have any more questions, feel free to email me. I'm just gonna, whoops. Facebook joining is not a must. I have many, this is another question for those listening to the replay. I have many members who have not joined the Facebook group, but they participate in the live meetings. And they email me if they have a question. So they don't have to join Facebook. It's just a really good group, and they're a lot of fun, and we have, good postings and good discussions and stuff like that. But certainly, we have the live meetings too, twice a month. So it's not a necessity. All right, so if you need to email me, see, this is another way for me to stall for time, see? Info at thedigestorslimit.com. I spelled it correctly. There we go. Okay. Any other questions? And just as a reminder, there's live meetings, there's the bi-monthly reviews, and there's also the educational webinars. Sharon says, look forward to getting the replay. I came late. Not a problem. I'm going to send it out tonight. I just have to wait for this system to let me download it, and then I can send it out. There's 2 more days before the special pricing ends on Thursday. And I would love to see you all in the program. We really do have a good time. And there's so much good information that we are learning right now. And one of the reasons I developed this program is to create, a forum where we can get the new information sooner. I do add things to the program all the time, but sometimes, and this is one of the reasons I do the educational webinars, is I can get it to you sooner that way and then work it into the program as needed. Okay, so I don't see any questions now. So I'm going to thank you all for attending. I really appreciate it. Look for the replay in your inbox in about an hour or so. And hopefully I see you in the program, which would be lovely. All right. Thank you, everyone. Good night.